When you first start thinking about booking a newborn photo shoot, it's only natural that one of your first questions is going to be, how much does it all cost? Now, the really short and quick answer to this question is that it depends. Because as you do your research, what you're going to find is that every photographer offers something different. And because everyone's offering something different, there's going to be a lot of different price points. So before you can really compare photographers on price, you need to understand what each photographer is offering and what you get for the price that you pay. So in this video, I'm going to explain the different ways that photographer service can vary, what might cause the cost to go up or to go down, and I hope it helps you make an informed decision about the kind of service that's right for your family and therefore how much you would like to spend. So first of all, does the photographer have a studio or do they travel to your house? Now, there's probably no other time in your life when this is as important a consideration as when you've just had a baby. So would you prefer to get out of the house and travel to the photographer's studio, or would you prefer that the photographer comes to you? Now, there's no right or wrong answer here, and there are some families who just prefer to be able to get out of the house, go to the studio, they don't have to tidy up or have the clutter of family life around them while they're having their shoot. For other families, the thought of actually leaving the house and having to get everyone ready and travel to the studio just doesn't work for them. So it's all about thinking about what's right for you. Now, how does this affect the price? Well, depending on the size of the photographer's studio, you might find that the price is higher because they're going to have higher costs to cover. Having said that, lots of photographers have studios at home or in very small spaces, and so this may not be such a factor in the price if that's the case for them. Equally, if a photographer travels to your home, then the kind of distances they're travelling for every shoot might have an impact on the price too. So next up, are they a specialist or a generalist photographer? Now, as you do your research, what you'll probably find as you go to different photographers' websites is that some of them specialise perhaps in newborn and baby photographers, and others are more generalist photographers. So perhaps on their website you'll see newborn photography, baby photography, weddings, portraits, headshots, interior photography. It could be any different combination of different genres of photography. Now, generally what you'll find is that specialist photographers charge more than a generalist photographer. If they're a specialist, you may well find that they've been around in the industry for longer and that's how they've come around to specialising. And because they are a specialist and they just photograph that one thing, they're more experienced at it and therefore are going to charge more for that experience. So this talk of specialists brings us very nicely onto the photographer's skill, knowledge and experience. Now, as you'd find in any other industry, different photographers are going to have different amounts of skill and experience in newborn photography. So some of the skills and experience that you need to have in newborn photography are knowing how to soothe and settle babies, knowing how to safely move them into newborn poses, understanding light and how you can use light to create beautiful photographs, composition of the photographs, how to pose families, and how to edit and retouch the photographs afterwards. Now, developing all of that skill costs money and it takes a lot of time. So you're going to find that more experienced photographers will charge more because you're paying for their experience at doing this and creating those beautiful photographs. So number 4 is, what kind of experience does the photographer offer you? So everywhere we choose to go and spend money these days, we can find people offering different levels of services at different prices. If we take restaurants as an example, we can go to a fast food restaurant where we walk in and find our own table, we walk to the counter to order our own food, we carry our food to the table, and we clear up after ourselves when we've gone. On the other hand, if we went to a restaurant where it costs hundreds of pounds to have a meal, what we'd find are highly knowledgeable and experienced staff who give us a very personalised service, who can advise us, make suggestions and recommend what's best for us, and we'd be left with a very different feeling from that experience. So photography really is no different. At one end of the scale, what you'll find is a photographer who meets you for the shoot, does the shoot with you, and then after they've edited the images, they'll email you a link or send you a CD with the photos on, ready for you to use and print as you decide. At the top end of the scale, what you'll probably find is a photographer who will spend time planning the shoot with you and getting to know your family so they can make some kind of personalisation to the shoot for you. You'll find that afterwards they'll probably meet you in person and they'll go through the photographs with you and be able to give you advice or make suggestions about the best way to enjoy and display those photographs afterwards. And then what you might find is that they deliver the photographs to your home, and some photographers right at the top end of the scale might even have a service where they can hang the photographs on your wall for you. So as you can imagine, those two different types of service are going to cost different amounts of money because you're having a very different experience, and because a photographer who's providing a highly personalised service is going to be able to work with fewer clients in the same amount of time as a photographer who provides a more simple service. So there's no right or wrong answer about which of these services is right for you. It really comes down to you and your family and what you feel is best. But this is one of the main factors that will affect the price that you pay. So finally, what quality of products does the photographer offer? So if you work with a photographer who offers products as well as digital images, then there are lots of different types of products available, anything from albums to frames to prints to boxes of prints to everything in between. But what you'll also find is that there's variation in the quality of those products. So if we take albums, for example, you can order an album from certain photographers that will be very similar to the kind of photo book that you can buy yourself on the high street or online. At the other end of the scale, photographers offer handmade albums. Perhaps they have a leather-bound cover. You might be able to engrave it or personalise it with some text of your choice. And inside you might have a lay-flat copybook, or you can even sometimes find albums where each print is individually mounted inside the album. Now obviously an album like this is going to cost a lot more than one that's like one you could buy on the high street. And so you're going to find variation in price depending on the quality of the products on offer. So I hope that this video has helped to explain why the cost of newborn photography does vary and what might cause that cost to be higher or lower between different photographers. If you'd like to see my prices for newborn photography, you can find them on my website under the Prices tab. And if you have any other questions about newborn photography, do send me an email or let me know in the comments below.